But as we go into where we're going in the future, the one thing we can never control is the environment we compete in. Each time along the way, we started Capital C in a recession, we made a lot of money in the 80s, the environment changes on you. I mean, if you think even in history, you know, the roaring 20s went into the Victorian age, went into the Depression, we had a generation at war, we had the Vietnam. Every time along the way, the environment changed. Make a choice. You got to sort of make things happen and take advantage of the opportunities that change brings you. Watch and hopefully you can respond to what happens, or you wonder what happens. And we've never wondered what happens. We've always tried to go for that next rung on the ladder. So I look at today and I see a world that is the most chaotic and complex that I think capitalism has ever dealt with. It really is the perfect storm. And I think we get so caught up in our world and sometimes so angry at our clients, but I think it's, once in a while, it's good to just step back and think about what's going on. Attention has always been the oxygen of brand building, whether I was trying to motivate a sales force or we're trying to engage a consumer or a teacher's trying to teach a child. And that game of attention is changing so dramatically. You've got a consumer that's no longer captivated by destination television. They're no longer willing to accept that in the middle of their show, we're going to stop and interrupt them with 6 or 7 minutes of ads. You got a consumer that's kind of moving from this world of mass and defining themselves by brands and really becoming me and defining myself in terms of where do I want to go in life? What journey do I want to go on to? What's relevant and meaningful to me? And yet these corporations that we do business with, in an effort to try to get more efficient, are moving their brand conversations from the individual to global. They believe that the future is about one size fits all. We're going to create this 30-second ad that'll be a magic wand that we only have to pay for once, and then we'll populate it in all the different countries around the world, and it'll resonate with consumers. That by putting Madonna and Sunsilk together, that they will believe that Sunsilk is their shampoo. So they're kind of moving to global, where the consumer is moving to not only just local, but what is relevant to me, what's important to me. Second thing that's happening with our clients is that the trade they depend on, because they're not cheap men that sell their products door to door, that they in fact need Shoppers Drug Mart and a Loblaws and a Sobeys, well, those stores are really not that interested in national brands anymore, because anybody can sell Oreos. So if anybody can sell Oreos, then if I want to win, I got to sell it cheaper than anybody else. So instead, they're starting to look at controlled label and how do I differentiate myself by providing products for my shopper. If you're into locally grown, I'm going to have locally grown brands. If you're into cosmetics, I'm going to give you the cosmetics that I have found that are exclusive to me. So that's the second thing that's kind of hit our clients. You got a consumer that's not paying attention, 6,500 messages a day, fragmentation, just not getting swayed to it. They're moving to mine. You've got a trade that our clients depend on that's saying, if you still want to put your national brands in my store, I'm going to continue to charge you a higher and higher tax for doing it. All of which has created a margin squeeze. And clients have gone from the days of, I can spend money on anything I want. I'll spend $1 million to motivate my dealers, to now having to be very smart about how they invest their money. Where am I going to invest this money? And the third sort of thing that's happened, obviously, is social media. The socialization. And now if I want to know something about sports, I don't wait for the morning paper. I got Matt in my network. If I want to know what's happening in the thinking and the brilliance that's out in the marketplace, I go to Bennett. You know, if I want to find out if I decide that I am like James in a midlife crisis, I'll go to him about my Harley Davidson. Just kidding. Not midlife crisis. I know it's part of your DNA. But I go to my social network. I'm shaping my thoughts and my perceptions and my behavior, not with what advertising is teaching me, but what all the different touch points that I'm becoming exposed to. It really is a perfect storm for a client. I equate it to, Up until this point, it was almost like marketing was a sandbox. And if you ever remember as a sandbox, we all kind of played the same way. You know, you made something big like a sandcastle. Think of that as your television advertising. I had to make sure I built my television advertising. I had to protect my investment. I built my moat, which was my retail strategy. And then every once in a while, somebody would come along with something shiny and new that I would play with because it was fun. But we all played nice. All the competitors played nice. Every once in a while, we might steal the advertising agency's shovel. But basically, it was a sandbox. Today, it's really, the analogy is more of a sandstorm. Our clients don't really know where they're going right now because the world's being turned upside down. And in a sandstorm, it's not a great place to be. You get tense, there's angst, geez, they've cut my overhead. You know, last week, Unilever shut their Chicago office down. Just shut it down. BBDO, 3 weeks ago, laid off 650 people that gave their life to the Chrysler business. Like everybody's kind of wandering around rudderless, and every once in a while a client skips over and goes to a seminar and hears about Google Analytics or mobile, and they come running back to us and they go, that's what I need to get through the sandstorm, a mobile solution. And within it, and I've been talking to a lot of my competitors, there's a level of tension and angst in the marketplace unlike anything I've ever seen. So as an entrepreneur, I go, what a perfect opportunity for us. We're small enough to move. I mean, we're not trying to move a 10,000 person global agency, yet we're big enough to look clients in the eye and say, we can help you navigate through it. But what we have to do is not just promise with a magic wand we've got a lot of smart people. Look at our track record, look at our reputation, look how many times people talk. We've got to come to our clients and say, we can help you get through this. And if you think of yourself lost, if you've ever gone out hiking, you look very quickly at the guide that's taking you on that hike and look at that. Is that individual capable of taking us where we need to go? Do I have confidence in that guide? And if something goes wrong, will that guide be there to support me? And I think our clients need that kind of guide. So what we're trying to do as an agency is say, how do we do that? How in the middle of a sandstorm can we ever provide them the path to that oasis that they're so desperately looking for? And I think the answer is we can't. But what we can do is we can get them to focus because they've lost focus. And we can get them to be passionate about things that they can control. So I want you to use this analogy of a sandstorm, and I'm going to take you through where we need to go as an agency. I want you to think of us in the business of creating a shelter. We can't stop the sandstorm. I think it's going to intensify. But we can put a roof over it to protect where our clients, so our clients can focus, and we can build some walls, and within those walls and the roof, we can lead them to where they need to go.